Hi, I'm Shelley Jones. Welcome to Learning Math with Dr. Jones. Our Facebook group will post a daily math lesson Monday through Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time throughout the month of August. Good morning. My name is Dr. Shelley Jones. I'm from Central Connecticut State University, the School of Engineering, Science, and Technology in the Department of Mathematical Sciences. And today I will be working out of the Math Foundations student workbook in section 2.3. And I'm going to start off with percent change. And I'm also going to move on to section 2.4. So percent change is the amount of change, whether that change be in a population or in a price you pay for an item. Is the amount of change over the original amount. So in order to get the amount of change, obviously, you have to have your new amount, whether that be a discounted amount or an increased amount. You have your new amount minus your original amount, and that is your amount change that goes in the numerator. Our original amount will always go in the denominator because this way we can see, is it a percent change up or down? No, we can have a percent increase if the amount of change is positive, or a percent decrease if it's negative. For instance, if our new amount is more than the original amount, we're going to have a percent increase, right? That makes sense. So let's go to our first example. Example 1 says the population in 2000 was 12,000 people. And in 2016, it rose to 15,000. All right, and this is on page 75 in your student workbooks. So in order to find the percent change, I'm actually going to use amount of the change over the original amount. So the percent change is, how did it change? Well, from 2000 to 2016, my new amount was 15,000, and it had risen from 12,000. So that's my amount change. And then I want over my original amount. That makes sense because I want the percent change. So you have to say changed from what? Changed from 12,000. And so if I subtract 15,000 minus 12,000, I have 3,000 over 12,000. And in order to do that pretty easily, of course, if I had a calculator, I could use that. But we're not using calculators right now because we want to be thinking about the numbers and what they mean. So in this case, I'm going to just take off of these zeros, right? And basically what I'm doing is I'm simplifying 3,000 over 12,000 to 3 over 12. In each of those cases, I canceled out a zero in the numerator and a denominator. That's one of the factors of 10 that I'm canceling out. And I end up with 3/12, which I can actually reduce that or simplify that fraction. And that becomes 3 over 12. Well, 3 goes into 3 once. And 3 goes into 12 4 times. So I have 1/4. And I know that that's 25%. But if you weren't sure about that, remember, we want to know our percent change. So a percent is always out of 100. And so I could say 1 out of 4 is the same as how much out of 100. So 4 times 25 gives me 100. So 1 times 25 gives me 25. And so I'm multiplying the numerator and denominator by the same number, which is 25. And in essence, I'm multiplying it by 1. So I multiplied 1/4 times 25 over 25. That's in essence what I did. When I multiply by 1, I get an equivalent fraction of 25 100ths. So 25 100ths, if I want to write that as a percent, that's easy. Once I have my fraction over 100, then I know it's 25%. Okay? So what I did, just to remind you, I started with, the question was, what was my percent change? And my percent change was an increase. And because my population went from 12,000 in the year 2000 to 15,000 in the year 2016, and so my population went up. And so I had to find at the very beginning the amount of change. And we see here the amount of change means the new amount minus the original amount. And so the new amount was 15,000 minus 12,000, and that was 3,000. Over the original amount. That's the one thing when you're doing percent change, you always want to remember that the denominator is going to be over your original amount. So 3,000 over 12,000, I canceled out all of those factors of 10, right? I had the zeros are basically my factors of 10. I canceled all of those out, those three, and I ended up with 3/12. I reduced that to 1/4. I made an equivalent fraction out of 100 because percent is always out of 100. It was 25 over 100, which is 25%. Most of you will know that 1/4 is 25%. You don't have to do all of that, but I want to show you that in case you needed to do it. Any questions so far? Okay. So here's a second question on page 75. It says, what percent of the original population, and I wrote the original population was 12,000, so that's just a reminder. What percent of the original population is the new population? So this is another way of saying it. What percent of 12,000 is 15,000? Let's think about that. If I say, what percent of 10 is 10? What percent is that? It's 100%. It's the whole thing. So in this case, it says, what percent of 12,000 is 15,000? So in my head, I already know that my percent is going to be over 100% because 15,000 is the whole 12,000 plus some more. And we just learned that it was plus 25 more percent. All right, but let's just write that out. And if we wanted to, we could say what percent. Well, as soon as it says what percent, I just happen to like the proportion. I'm going to show you some other ways to do it with the double number line a little later. But right now, I'm going to do this with a proportion. What percent means I don't know the percent. So I'm going to write question mark over 100 equals what percent of 12,000 is 15,000. So this time, the 12,000, let's see, actually goes in the denominator because I'm saying 15,000 is what percent of the 12,000. So of is usually, I'm taking it out of the 12,000. So of 15,000 of 12,000. Okay. And so in this case, what I could do, let me just make sure I have this right. What percent? So what out of 100 is the same as 15,000 out of 12,000? And I'm saying out of, but I mean of, all right? And so here, I'm going to cross cancel, but before I cross cancel, if I can, I like to cancel out some zeros. I like to take out those factors of 10. So, I mean, I don't need all those zeros. So I see here, I can take out some zeros, right? And I could even reduce this if I wanted to, but I won't. So basically, I have 15 times 100. 15 times 100 equals, cross multiplying, 12 times question mark. And so that's 1,500. I can divide both sides by 12. And let's see what I get here. I cancel those out. 12 divided by 12 is 1. So question mark equals all of this. So basically, I'm saying 15 times 100 divided by 12. 15 times 100. I don't need to rewrite it. I'll just do it out. All right, let me just do that out quickly. I'm looking for my calculator. Okay, I don't have my calculator. So that's 1,500 divided by 12. anyone have their calculator with them? Once, and I have 3,000 left over. Okay, so I'm just doing this in my head. So 12 goes into 15 once, and then I have 3 left over. So if I take the 30, 12 goes into that twice, right? That's 24, and then I have 600 left over, or 60 left over. 12 goes into that 1,500. Okay, I have too many zeros. Ah. Now I got it. So 125. So 1,500 over 12. I felt like it was too large. I was like, why is this so large? Remember, when I started this, I estimated first, right? I actually just reasoned through it because we had already found out that the percent increase was 25%. So if it increased 25%, that means I have the original amount plus 25% more. So it makes sense that I would get 125, because when I write 125, which is my question mark, well, 125 over 100, remember, anything over 100 is a percent. So basically, the question mark is 125, but when it asks what percent, it's 125%. And that makes sense, okay?
Hi, I'm Dr. Shelley Jones. I'm excited to announce the 1-year anniversary of my best-selling book, Women Who Count, honoring African American women mathematicians. Meet me on Sunday, September 13th at 2 p.m. to celebrate Women Who Count, because representation matters. Stay tuned for a special panel discussion with mathematicians featured in the book, giveaways including a Katherine Johnson t-shirt, and activities from the book. Please register on Eventbrite for Women Who Count's 1-year celebration.